Welcome back. We have standings and pairings for the final round.
That's right.
So here's what it breaks down as. Ely Cassis is in first place, 19 points. Going to be able to draw into top 8 with Reanimator. After him is Scott T. Robbins, also undefeated, 601, and Felix Lapon, 601.
Real quick, with 3 people at X01, it's possible that one of them might get paired down well.
Yeah, one of them will get paired down.
If one of them pardon me, yes, one will get paired down, and if they get paired down with the wrong person, someone that's on the lower end of the standings, they could have to play, but it's not likely.
So, Ely and Scott, assuming it goes just by pairings, 20 points, 20 points. Felix and Ben draw, let's say 19 and 19 points. So, Josh C. Crow and Jesus Causing, I believe. I don't really.
Well, I mean, the thing is that pairings are not done straight up by standings.
I think
they're done randomly within.
On the last round of Swiss, I'm pretty sure it's done straight by standings.
Really?
Yeah, I was surprised too when I found out. But we have Gerry T versus Paul Lynch as our feature match that's about to come up. So I'll sit here and work through some of the math. But so we know Gerry T's on this bug deck.
Yep, he's playing the Team America style of bug. Basically, pretty classic. Snuff outs have been replaced by dismembers.
Yep.
Is he running Stifle? I forget if
3 Stifles.
3 Stifle, okay.
Yes. Just trying to think what else he's running. Probably he had 2 Vanilla Clicks, 4 Tarmogoyf, 2 Tombstalker, 2 Jace.
Right.
Were his well, those were his win conditions. Had a Miser's Pernicious Deed.
Right.
He had another Miser's card. It might have been like a Smother or something. I don't really remember.
I don't believe it was a Smother. It was 2 Diabolic Edicts, 1 Pernicious Deed, 2 Dismember. You're right, there was one other Singleton.
Yeah,
I forget what it was.
There wasn't.
We're going to be getting to that match pretty quickly, so as soon as we get an opportunity, we'll be showing those cards, or telling you those cards.
On the left, one of my losses at the Grand Prix playing Merfolk, and Gerry Thompson on your right. Should be a good match. Paul's a good player, Gerry's a good player. I'm assuming he had the all-foil Merfolk deck, so I think he might still be on that today, but we'll have to see.
Looks like Gerry goes to a mulligan.
Looks like we might have a clean cut to top 8 here. At all the people, not clean, I guess. With if Felix is paired against Ben, they get to draw in probably, and then the next match down looks like you can draw in ahead of Alex John and James Riekowitz, but they might not. We'll see.
Yeah, a quick confirmation. You are correct. DCI Reporter is set up to make the final round be paired straight down the line by pairings, with the only exceptions being made for people that have already played each other. Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Polluted Delta from Gerry versus Aether Vial from Paul Lynch, and
Here
that's wisely Force of Willed.
And there's the fish. Yep. So it looks like Gerry and Paul have to play it out. Dan Musser and Riley Kern are going to have to play it out. Josh and Housing might have to play it out. They might draw. And depending on that, Alex John or James Winkeritz may or may not make top 8.
Silvergill Adept revealing a Merfolk Regery, getting another Force of Will. And this time, alternate art, well, I should say altered art, Force of Will from Paul Lynch, tossing a mental misstep, keeps the Silvergill Adept resolving. Well, maybe. Gerry is now sacrificing a Polluted Delta, getting an Underground. Perhaps mana, Brainstorm. Gerry, I believe, has Daze in his deck. Daze would still stop this this Silvergill.
Yep. And stopping Silvergill is pretty important because, you know, that card just lets Merfolk put out a threat, but keep counter magic in their hand. Just sort of gain this sort of the cards just really matter in that deck because you're trading your cards for their cards semi-inefficiently in order to just get on board and keep them from sweeping you, and you just have to finish in time. And Silver Galaxy gives you the clock, and it gives you the cards.
Paul draws, it resolves. Gerry lays a second land, casts him to Turak, trying to reclaim some of the card advantage that Paul had gathered. Him to Turak getting Umezawa's Jite and Wasteland.
Paul has another Wasteland, going to cast a Lord with that and start getting his beat down.
Dismember.
Gerry drops to 16.
Leaves himself with 1 mana available to avoid a daze, and then Wasteland's the Wasteland.
Yep. So, bit of a top deck war here, but Paul is the first blow. Finds it with a Wasteland.
Attacks for 2. Gerry says go after drawing. Paul attacks for 2 again, knocking Gerry down to 10, I believe.
Has a daze in hand, which is going to counter the next thing Gerry does, probably.
Gerry lays Tropical Island, says go. Attacks with Silver Galaxy, Island and Daze in hand for Paul Lynch.
Gerry draws a Delta, has a Force in hand.
Lord of Atlantis from Paul Lynch.
Paul debating whether he wants to cast it here or possibly wait. Probably just going to cast it.
Lord of Atlantis comes down. The clock goes down to 3 turns. Silvergale attacks for 3.
Paul opting to play his Island to play around him to Turok a bit.
And Gerry's done. Yeah.
And that's that. Merfolk's traditionally favored in this matchup. Well, we don't have deck lists right now. We know Gerry's going to bring in. I know he has. I seem to remember having a bit more spot removal, but he has another Pernicious Deed in the board. His Ghastly Demise, that's what it was.
Was that it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember if he had Submerge or not. Not that works this way. My bad. Sorry, never mind.
Other way around.
Yeah. I was thinking the other. My brain went a little tired for a second. Paul Lynch, we have not seen his deck list yet, so we don't know what his sideboard looks like.
Yep.
You were saying about Merfolk generally having advantage in this kind of matchup. The slower the bug deck, even more the advantage.
Yeah.
But basically the big part of the reason is Lord of Atlantis itself makes all of the Merfolks just march right on past any defenses, and the accumulating power of a tribal deck means that essentially you can't let 2 creatures get down on the table, let alone 3 creatures, without being like on the verge of annihilation.
Yeah. And Aether Vial just negates a lot of what Gerry has in his deck. I can see Stifle coming out of this deck. Looks like Ben in the background probably drew his match. Just chilling there. I don't see why he would be chilling around. I don't think he could lose that fast, barring his opponent playing Charbelcher or something who's killing him on both games.
Yeah. Daze from Paul Lynch is also more effective, I think, because his clock is simply quicker.
Yep.
Gerry Thompson can expect a 5-turn clock from any threat he lays at best, and Paul can often, because he's got
4 off a Tombstalker, but that's late.
That's really late. Yeah.
But Paul, Wasteland too. Gerry's deck has a very fragile mana base.
Absolutely.
This is Alex Bertoncini marching around the room, probably cheering about the fact that Gerry's going to lose playing for top 8.
Well, not going to lose yet. We have to wait and see. I mean,
knowing Alex, he's probably pretty excited.
Well, Gerry, I think, would hope to put up a bigger fight so that Alex will be disappointed. So we'll have to wait.
We'll see.
Yeah, and this is for the top 8.
This match is for a guaranteed spot in top 8. X1 record to the winner of this. According to Swiss, if the Swiss rounds play out as they, if Swiss is played out in the form as described by Wizards, X1 will in fact top 8 every single time.
Shuffling up, Gerry did mulligan that game as well. So he started off not only, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but was Gerry on the draw and mulligans?
I'm not sure.
I can't remember. I think he was, but I know he mulliganed.
He was not, because he had a mana up to prevent a daze back on the turn 1 Aether while being forcible.
There we go. Okay.
So Gerry was on the play, force a willing off a mulligan was the problem.
Okay.
Yeah, we saw
and he
there.
Double
that,
force of will.
Yeah,
actually.
had to use 2 force of wills and just kind of dropped down on cards and died.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm going to be willing to bet he boards out his stifles here.
Yes.
Maybe boards out, depending on how much creature kill he has.
If he has days, I can see that going out for sure. Okay, let's go here. Start with Gerry.
Gerry's right here.
Ponders the singleton.
Yeah, Ghastly Demise is exactly correct. Pernicious Deed is also in the sideboard.
So he's got 3 Demise, a Deed, a Jason Mind Sculptor that's probably going to come in. Maybe the Life from the Loam just to not lose to Wasteland. Maybe Thoughtseize as well. Stifle and Daze I can see coming out for sure. I think you need Force to combat Aether Vial. But it looks like both players are looking at their hands. Gerry let out a Misty Rainforest. Paul Lynch again with the Aether Vial.
And I think that
Gerry left in Daze, it looks like.
Paul has 1 Kira, the Great Glass Spinner in the main. I wouldn't be surprised if he brings in the second one.
Yep.
And I actually like Relic of Progenitus quite a bit here. Makes the Tarmogoyfs tiny, makes the Tombstalkers hard to cast.
I've been saying this, about Knight and Tarmogoyf. Same thing applies. Tombstalkers just, once they have 2 guys that rely on the graveyard that are big that you have to stop, Relic starts becoming a realistic card. And I think Threads of Disloyalty might be reasonable to board in for these Tarmogoyfs.
It's only hitting Tarmogoyfs, but he doesn't know that there's not necessarily
Dark Confidant.
Yep.
Gerry dazes that Aether Vial. It looks like he may have boarded in the Metamorph. I can't really tell what the card Gerry just drew was. Other cards that might come in, maybe Phantasmal Image to match the big creatures. Any removal spell that targets the image is just going to kill it anyways, so...
Silvergill Adept revealing, looks like a Curse Catcher.
Yep.
Gerry says, okay.
Dismember might come in for the Merfolk side of this. Maybe Misdirection for Hymns. There's a lot of ways to take this. Again, Merfolk's not really a deck I have a huge amount of experience with. Whenever I played the deck, I always had 2 Spell Pierces and 13 Anti-Zoo cards as my sideboard, so... we'll see.
Gerry gets a Bayou. 2 Bayous in his deck.
Yep.
Adds Underground Sea and Tarmogoyf. Tapping out.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll see a Daze here. Paul flips through his hand, and
I think that Goyf is going to stick.
Yep. Looks like it's a 3-power Goyf. Paul untaps.
You know what seems like a very reasonable thing is Dismember from the board for Paul Lynch to go up to 3 Dismember. Kills Tombstalker, kills Tarmogoyf, usually kills Tarmogoyf.
Kills Dark Confidant if Gerry had it. Paul opts to, there's a Curse Catcher, opts to multiple Curse Catcher, but opts to waste the green source as opposed to the blue source. Most of the blue spells are free except for Brainstorm. And the green spell, Tarmogoyf, is the one he really cares about right now. Just trying to maintain board parity and make sure Gerry doesn't get in some beats before he can start controlling the game. But there comes another Tarmogoyf.
These holding the fort, just totally awesome.
Yep.
Now, even though Paul doesn't have anything going right now, all it takes is a Lord of Atlantis or a Marrow Regery for suddenly the abilities, sorry, not the abilities, but for the Merfolk to build up to such a large army that he could overwhelm Gerry very easily.
Those are basically, each of those creatures applies more power than each of those Tarmogoyfs. Paul has nothing on his turn, probably just has a lot of counter spells in his hand. Probably loaded up on Missteps if he didn't counter the Goyfs. Also possible he's just loaded up on cards that don't really match up against these Goyfs.
Thoughtseize. Gerry Thompson drops Thoughtseize.
Misdirection.
Tossing, is that a Curse Catcher?
Yep. And
Gerry looks at his own hand.
I believe Thoughtseize, I don't know if it's look or reveal, but he does have to choose a card if it's there. I think the new ones are reveal because you have to confirm that they chose, you can't say, oh, don't have anything. You have to reveal. Reveals, yep. There we go.
Brainstorms in response. Mental misstep.
Gerry hiding cards from himself, possibly.
Gerry decides to get rid of the Jace.
leaving himself with Mental Misstep and Vendilion Click.
Now, by losing the Jace,
Those Goyfs
this
get
means,
huge.
yeah, big times with the Goyfies. Threatening a kill next turn.
Yeah. Maybe Paul Lynch has a Threads of Disloyalty here. That would be that'd be what he's looking for.
This is a critical turn for Paul.
Yeah. I think he really has to make a move on the board, otherwise. Looks like he has a Dismember, so.
Which won't kill a Goyf.
If he blocks with Curse Catcher, it will.
Fair enough. After blocking, yes.
He's probably going to play a.
Actually, yeah. No, he can't because of the life it costs him to.
Yeah, he realizes he made the mistake with attacking with the Curse Catcher. He's supposed to block them both. Dismember down the 1, go to 3.
He has to pay 4 life to cast that Dismember.
Yeah. So had he, instead of attacking with both the Curse Catchers, left them both back, he could have traded essentially Curse Catcher and Dismember for a Tarmogoyf and possibly drawn out of that.
Well, 2 Curse Catchers and Dismember.
No, because Tarmogoyf goes to a 0-1. It's a 5-6.
But it does go to a 0-1. Yep. There we go.
Yep. So let's see what Paul does here with the sideboard.
It's possible. One of the things that, let's say he did not bring in the Threat of Disloyalty, which maybe it's not right, maybe it is right. After a game like that, where you just get owned by a Tarmogoyf, it can be very, very tempting to be like, Threads, I better not let that happen again. That's not often the correct way of going about it. Your decision hopefully was right the first time, and it's not going to be different now that you had one game go one way.
That's Gerry, results-based testing. That was his line, right?
That's been a line for a long, long time.
I vaguely remember, he was the one that really brought it up. The Cruel Ultimatum states there was a list from, I believe, Texas that just won with 25 lands, and he's like, don't copy this list. Yes, it won. It has 25 lands. It's casting Cruel Ultimatum.
I mean, I think that this gets brought up every about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, oh my god!
Yeah. Let's see if there's any interesting news on the Twitterverse going on about this event.
See Alex Lynn talking about how Gerry Thompson and how he likes, I guess, that he looks presentable.
Yeah. Discussing the, I don't know. Maybe Gerry's just cold. I believe that. Joke of the day. Paul Lynch must not be an SCG pro because he didn't get any free sleeves.
Gerry doesn't have those sleeves either. So
I think they were making a joke about the sleeveless shirt there.
That's funny. That's funny.
I was amused.
I didn't even catch that second part of the joke. That's nice.
Yes. And interested to see where this one's going. Merfolk's on the play this game, something he hasn't been able to do. His bio got dazed last game. Not going to happen on the play.
This is Gerry's second feature match today.
Yeah.
Island from Paul Lynch to start. A little bit of a wait. He's figuring out if he wants to do anything else.
Maybe he wants a Curse Catcher. Maybe he wants to save that to split to Force.
Says
Gerry
Phil.
has the Singleton Ponder.
Paul Lynch gives it the thumbs up. So this actually makes 2 formats right now for this weekend. Gerry running 1 Ponder.
I hope it's the same copy of the Singleton Ponder. I really hope.
I'd be willing to bet both of his decks were together without, I'm guessing 8 mental missteps, for example, between the 2 decks.
8 different ones?
Yeah.
8 different borrowed ones, you mean?
Yeah.
I believe it.
Gerry says go after arranging his library.
Looks like he has a force. Paul's hand, can't really see. Got an
A second island.
There's a
Coral Helm Commander. We have not seen this yet from Paul. It's a card that...
It rivals the creatures that Gerry has in terms of size. Gerry has a Wasteland as a second land.
If Tarmogoyf gums up the world, Coral Helm Commander can go to the air.
Yep.
I see a Tombstalker, I believe, from Gerry Thompson.
Is that a Spell Pierce in Paul's hand?
Paul goes for another Lord.
Maybe just leveling up the Coral Helm. Bashing
Attacks
just for 2. Average blue creature size. Blue for our Grizzly Bears. Getting in there.
Attacking for 2 has been a long time historical okay thing to do.
Yep. You know, sometimes just got to get into the average beats. Yep. Sometimes just got to back up the average beats with average counter spells. And you know, a lot of the times people really don't know what to do against that.
Time is short. Dismember makes Spell Pierce.
Yep, there's the Spell Pierce getting use.
That's 4 life that Gerry has to pay to use Dismember.
Basically, letting Paul Lynch Fire Blast him there on that exchange. Mental Misstep.
Mental Misstep.
Is this going to be the fight? Nope.
Okay. And Coral Helm Commander is dead.
Paul Lynch accepts that the commander is going to die. Maybe going to try. Nope, no land.
Gerry lays a 3rd land.
One off of the Tombstalker.
Rainforest.
Probably debating whether he slams the deed or just passes, plays around Dade.
I think I saw Paul draw another Daze. Lord of Atlantis. Gerry, end of turn, fetches with Misty Rainforest.
Might be in response, not sure. Looks like he has Force, Jace, Tombstalker, Deed. I don't know, Gerry's in a pretty good position to take this game.
Gerry looks like he's in excellent position.
Paul didn't really have any explosive starts here.
It's a fair point from Jonathan Parmenter. A better way to put what I was saying earlier. It's Gerry Thompson's 2nd feature match in the Legacy Open.
This is his 3rd one today.
Is it 3rd or 4th? Third one today.
Yep. Vendilion Click.
Targeting the self.
Yep.
Now remember, Lord of Atlantis does not give itself Island Walk.
Gerry draws another Dismember. And Vendilion Click might start putting the clock on.
Is that a Deed?
Yep.
Deed is the awesomest.
You were testing the Baron earlier, right?
Yep.
Lots of Deeds in that one.
Deeds are awesome. Unfortunately, they're not great against Hive Mind, but they're good against most decks.
Paul Lynch facing down an active Deed, which kills a lot of his guys without killing, say, a Tombstalker.
Yeah. Paul has an Umezawa's Jite in hand.
Not really the best threat to extend into the Deed, you know, make his board 2s against Gerry's 3, but might just have to force the Deed to pop right there.
Attack for 2. Go
Gerry
to 13.
Looks like Josh Jacobson just made top 8 of the draft open.
Congratulations to Josh. Wasteland and Jace. Oh boy.
Jace should bounce that Lord of Atlantis.
Poor Paul.
Yeah. And Jace does what it does best against these creature decks. Punish them for having to tap mana to advance the board with things that Jace can just negate.
And Jace Deed is an awesome combo if they're both in your deck.
Yes. Deed was before Planeswalkers, and it references artifacts, enchantments, creatures. Not Planeswalkers. Jace lives through a Deed of any size.
think I see a backup deed in Gerry's hand.
Jace bounces Lord. Vendilion gets in there for 3. Paul dropping to 11 here.
Backup deed.
Just drops the second deed. Get it into play. Blow the first one for 2.
Paul running out of options quickly.
Tapping 3, Mirror Regery.
Yep.
Well, for him at least it costs 3, so Deed can't really clear it away here. But I think Deed's going to be aimed at that Jite, and Ghastly Demise is going to be aimed at that Regery. Gerry draws an uncastable him, but he's probably just going to put Jace back up and try and dismember the Lord. I think you dismember first. Just watch the fight happen, see if you want to make that Vendilion stay home. Probably don't even need to blow the Jite. Yeah, just start the fight after Paul equips them, uses the mana to equip, I think. And Paul is a Mutavault too. Yeah, just pass the turn after Jacing up to 3. Probably Fate Seal him.
I'm waiting to see. I mean, I don't know all of Gerry's hand.
Yeah. Yesterday's top 8 competitor, Alex John, won his match, potentially in top 8 contention at 6-1-1 right now.
Gerry puts to the bottom Paul Lynch's card.
Wastelands the Mutavaults. It's going to pass with Dismember, Ghastly Demise, and Daze Mana Off.
Paul lays a 4th land. Cast a 2nd Marrow Regery.
Probably untapping an island.
Correct. Marrow Regery attacks Jace for 3.
Time for a Ghastly Demise.
Ghastly Demise goes for it.
Mirror Regery down. Paul equips Jite second main phase. And is probably just going to get bounced. Gerry doesn't really want to waste this Dismember. Just may as well get the value he can. Gerry debates EOT Wastelanding, but it's never right to... Well, I won't say never, but if you're looking at just EOT Wastelanding versus your turn, unless you're killing an untapped land, really no difference, because the Wasteland could waste on your turn, waste on their turn. You know, the option to tap for mana on your turn is the same as, you know, if you don't have it on your turn versus their end step, just...
I think Paul's all islands, though. I think that he was considering an end-of-turn Dismember, and then it was like, nah, never mind. Doing exactly what you said, which is to not bother.
Yep. Paul taps 2. Looks like he's just going to try and get Lord of Atlantis on the table, but that doesn't seem very good. I mean, Dylan gets dismembered, putting Paul to 1 life. Gerry lets it resolve, doesn't really have any ability to stop it. I can see Gerry popping Deed for 2 here.
Deed for 2 here is just fine. EOT, Deed for 2. And then you get to use Jace just to bury the game.
Does he still have the Tombstalker? Brainstorm. Maybe I like my Fate Seals too much. I don't know. Maybe I'm too used to lower power formats where you can just get into a slightly dominant position, Fate Seal the rest of the game out.
I mean, have you played Jace very much in Legacy or in Vintage?
In Vintage is a different story because every deck you're just going to brainstorm combo.
Well, it's very similar in the way that with Legacy, when you brainstorm, you get such powerful cards, it's almost inevitable that your Jace gets to stick around.
Yeah, it's very possible that I haven't played with Jace in Legacy, so I wouldn't know that.
Hymn to Torok to clear out what little remains of Paul's hand.
I actually haven't played Jace in anything but Standard or Block or Vintage, but
Usually, if the Jace lives, like for a turn,
Yeah,
your cards, once you start brainstorming, are so powerful, it's almost impossible for someone to come back.
that's fair.
Paul Lynch's options are cut in half,
Yep.
him to Turok.
It's also Paul that's just had too many cards in his hand for Gerry to realistically Fate Seal out of the game.
Again, Lord of Atlantis. Gerry lets it sit.
Gonna probably jam this Tarmogoyf down. Or actually, he might just be like, wait, there's Threads of Disloyalty. Let's just win with Jace here.
Edict.
Yep.
Tarmogoyf. Fate Seal.
I can see this have the other deed to deal with potential Threads being in hand. Paul draws a pretty marginal Wasteland here. He has the Threads.
Threads. Go ahead, take it, says Gerry.
Sure. Gonna bounce it back to my hand with Jace. I missed that one the first time around. There we go. That's what it is.
Which one, says Gerry?
Second black.
Second black or the Wasteland, I would say.
Yeah. Wasteland might have been better.
Jerry's like, give me back that Tarmogoyf. I'm going to cast it.
Jace performs his own Threads of Disloyalty impression.
Paul needs to put down 2 cards
Yep.
in order to make sure that he doesn't die. Otherwise, the Jace plus Tarmogoyf means it's over. And
Picks
that's
it up.
it. Yeah. Paul Lynch vanquished by Gerry Thompson.
Gerry-
2 top 8s in a row.
Yep. Gerry Thompson top 8ing twice in the same weekend, possibly winning twice in the same weekend.
I
We'll
know.
have to see.
That'd be pretty exciting.
I kind of want to hear what the results of the other matches were, but I'm sure we'll get to that in a minute when we announce top 8. I'm pretty sure Ben Friedman drew his match. I know in the draw bracket between Alex John and James Rinkowitz, I'm pretty sure Alex John defeated James. Unless the pairings were slightly different than I expected. Let's see. Nope, that was the match. So
Right now, we definitely have Gerry Thompson. 2 top 8s this weekend. For those of you who are just joining us, that was the end of round 8, our final round. We'll be waiting to find out what the rest of the top